Hello, street leaders. Hi, this is question 19 on ACT 59F. This is the 19 on the reading portage. That's the 9th question in passage 2. We're still doing passage 2 on page 34 called longitude. The title is really important because this passage is all about something to do with longitude and ships at sea and, boating or whatever that stuff is. Question 19 states, lines 82 through 84 indicate that others took over Harrison's work in order to. That word indicate right away says you're looking at a level 2, what does the text say question. So that means our answer should just restate, should paraphrase the text of lines 82 through 84. We want the exact same information. Even similar words, the same words, that's great. As long as the same and similar words are stating the same relationship and have the same main idea that the text says. So what does the text say? His followers shepherded Harris's intricate, exquisite invention through the design modifications that enabled it to be mass-produced and enjoy wide use. Okay, now if you got 18 right, then you have a leg up on this question. If you got 18 wrong because you picked J, then you're going to be easily led down a wrong path because J was a false inference. And if you start to read in these false inferences, like in question 18, and start to see that in the passage, they can continue this false inference and this whole false second story, this false narrative in the back of your head with more wrong answers on 19 and 20. Yeah, it's kind of shady they do that. So what we want is something that restates how Harrison's followers are shepherding. I mentioned this in video 18. Shepherding is a protective, helpful word. Jesus is the good shepherd. Abraham was a good shepherd. Moses was a good shepherd. David was a good shepherd. They take care of the sheep. They take care of the vulnerable things that are in their care. So his followers shepherded the exquisite invention through the design modifications that enabled it to be mass-produced and enjoy wide use. Right away, A is wrong because it's unsupported in the text. First of all, it's an inference, or if it was a statement, like if it was said in the text, it couldn't be said in the text because the text doesn't say this anywhere. This is not found in the text at all. Since this question is asking what does the text say, you have to just throw A out. A sounds very plausible. A is there to get kids who are just skimming this passage, who don't have time for anything, and just pick A because they never got to read it. A sounds plausible until you read the passage. All right. B again is the same idea. It sounds plausible if we're reading it, not a history story, or not a history passage, but like some fictionist story with plot twists. A and B sound plausible, but A and B aren't what's happening. Yeah, there's a human evil element in the story, but that's the passage before. That's just human beings being political and looking out for their friends and just being like cheat and corrupt judges. That's not where this is going. The judges in the establishment stab him in the back, not his friends. That's the whole point of this. So A and B are completely way out of left field wrong because there's nothing in the text that even mentions this. But they're very plausible if you just look at the questions without having read the passage, and that's why they put them in there. C is wrong. It's wrong. It puts a true fact, okay, that mentions that it was mass-produced, and they straight up use the exact same phrase, mass-produced. But they use the word mass-produced, and they completely changed the context of mass-produced. Getting the clock mass-produced goes from a friendly thing his friends did to support him and help him win to a cheapening thing that weakened his contribution. No, and again, that's a false inference that's nowhere near the story, but it's perfectly in keeping with J. So if you let J put a bad false inference in your head, you're going to be tempted to pick J and then pick C, because now you got this narrative in your head from J on 18 that his friends are just trying to exploit his invention, and now they're exploiting him and his invention in question 19 by mass producing it. And yeah, and that's all just paranoid stuff that you shouldn't even be considering thinking on 2 grounds. One, this is a level 2 inference question. What does the text say? No one's asking you to get paranoid and infer or find an implied idea. No one's asking you to read between the lines. And then 2, even things you read between the lines on level 3 inference implied idea questions, they have a hint. You got to connect some little breadcrumbs somewhere. There's no breadcrumbs here about any of that stuff. That's just all, you know, just they just want you to see mirages. But C's more tempting because it uses the fact, it says the exact same word, so it has a true detail, but then it uses that detail to state something that doesn't mean what the sentence in question says. It's not it's using the exact same term, word for word, 2 words, mass-produced, but in a way that doesn't mean what the passage means. But that's why we like D. D is the perfect answer. It's the textbook answer. It is a direct point for point, not word for word, but idea for idea paraphrase of lines 82 through 84. Let's see, the lines say, his followers shepherded Harrison's invention through the design modifications that enabled it to be mass-produced to enjoy wide use. Notice I skipped 2 unimportant adjectives there to help the sentence flow and make sense. And if you need to skip adjectives to help a sentence make sense, that's fine. Okay. So others did take over. They shepherded his work to do what? To turn his design to one that could be practically produced for more users. Enjoy wide use, that means it has the exact same meaning as more users. And practically produced is mass produced. Mass produced is when you have a bunch of interchangeable parts, so what goes into one iPhone goes in the other, so you can always make a lot really fast on an assembly line, and then you can replace parts. Really easy to repair. You just swap out the part because every iPhone 6S is made exactly the same. So why do we mass produce things? Because it's more practical. And that's why D is right. Thank you for watching. And I hope this made sense. To repeat, on 19, D is right because it's the only answer that summarizes and restates point for point exactly what the original passage said. All right, thank you.